Hi everyone, this is Neelu Jain, one of the finalists of Face of Woha 2021. Through this video, I want to talk about a topic which is extremely close to my heart. I call it the power of being you. In my life and when I see people around me, I've always seen each one of us, including me, chase a lot of future targets. We set huge amount of goals that, this is where I want to be, this is how much I want to achieve. While it's important for us to set future targets, it's also important for us to look at these small wins that we have in our lives day in, day out. These small victories, these small appreciations, something small which goes right. These are the small wins that gives us the motivation to sustain that larger target of our lives. It's important for us to look at our life right now, experience it. Look at all the appreciation that we receive. Look at the relationships that we have. Look at the people who are happy about us being in their lives. And that is what is true victory. Goals are important. What is more important is how we are experiencing life right now, because that is what is giving us the motivation to move ahead in our lives. So that's the first point that makes me believe of the power of being ourselves. If we can live in the present, and if we can look at these small victories and these small wins that we have in our life, because this is what is giving us the power to look at that future and to set those futuristic goals. The second point that I have again experienced, as well as I've seen people around me experience, is that we often set targets and we call ourselves successful or unsuccessful based on how people around us have achieved in their lives. For example, if I'm at X amount of age and I'm looking at somebody else who's of a similar age, buying a house, buying a car, or maybe having kids, somewhere or the other, we start comparing ourselves with that person. And we start putting ourselves under pressure because of the kind of accomplishments the other person has. We call ourselves successful or unsuccessful based on the kind of things that person has achieved in their lives. It's great to appreciate somebody who's achieved something in their lives. It's sad when we start comparing ourselves based on somebody else's accomplishments, because we are not living their lives. Their values, their culture, their upbringing, their life situation is completely different from our values, our culture, our upbringing, our way of life. When we compare ourselves with somebody else's life, we start putting ourselves in a lower position. And somewhere or the other, our self-esteem starts getting impacted, which has an effect on our confidence, the way we feel, the way we think, the way we behave. There was a very nice quote that I read somewhere which said, "Don't compare your chapter 1 with somebody else's chapter 20. And it just made so much of sense. It's important for us to set goals based on how we want to live our lives, and not based on how we feel other people are achieving their goals, so those goals should be mine as well. That's something we must do away with, and we must understand that everyone has a different timeline. Things happen to us based on different occurrences in our lives. If you get a house at the age of 30 and somebody else buys a house at the age of 20, doesn't mean you are unsuccessful and that person is successful. It just means your life situations are different than that person's life situation, because we all have different timelines. The final one that I want to talk about today is the fact that a lot of times there are a lot of problems that we experience in our lives. Or let's say there are situations which we are embarrassed about, or some mistakes that have happened in our lives which we deeply regret. Most of the times we run away from these problems. Most of the times we want to escape from these memories. And we make it too obvious to other people in our lives that these are the memories which are our trigger points. What starts happening is when we run away from these memories, when we run away from these embarrassments, and when others can see this happening, we put a lot of power, we give a lot of power to others to use these triggers against us. Each time the trigger point is pressed, we start becoming anxious. The power, the true power of being ourselves is to accept the fact that we are our fears, we are our embarrassments, we are our success, and we are our mistakes. The moment we start embracing these problems, the moment we start embracing these embarrassments, life becomes easier for us. Because then we don't give others the power to use our mistakes against us. It's important for us to embrace the fact that yes, I am my mistake. And yes, this was a mistake. And now here is where I am. It's important for us to accept, adapt, adopt, and move ahead in our lives. So the real power of being ourselves, or the real power of being you, is when you start living in your present. Even if you set future goals, look at the small things that is happening to you day in, day out. Live in your present. The second thing is that when you start realizing that everybody has a different timeline, success or failure is not based on what other people are achieving. It's based on what you want to achieve in your life. Because everyone is living their life and you must live your life. And the final one is the fact that you must accept your flaws, accept your failures. Don't let other people have the power to use your failure against you. Stop giving your trigger points in other people's hands. When we do these three things, I feel it gives us tremendous amount of power, and it makes us the real us, because these are the things that make us truly who we are. And this is the real power of being you, of accepting the way you are and then showing it out to the world. Thank you so much for watching this video. This is Neelu Jain.